and welcome to the Laura Show. I am here on my lonesome today, which is not a sad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's episode 14, and I've been getting a lot of feedback, comments, and questions from my viewers and listeners, and so I wanted to devote an entire episode to getting all those questions answered. Obviously, I have been up to a lot since I started the show, and my career has taken an interesting journey. Not sure if you've been following along, but if you have, you've kind of known how many things I've dabbled in. I am a real estate agent technically by day, and by night I run what's called From the Ground Up Academy, which is a brand new company that just opened like last week. It's a training company for real estate agents. But between being a realtor and helping real estate agents and training them, I've learned a lot in between, and there's been a lot of successes and failures and things to do with business and things to do with personal life, and I actually have no idea what questions are being thrown at me today, but the team is going to help me out, so I appreciate Alex. She's behind the camera. She's going to be asking me the questions, and I hope this kind of Q&A will give you maybe some context, and will give you some help in your career journey as well. And as always, guys, be sure to leave your comments, leave your questions, because we might do another one of these in the near future, and hopefully that will help you then as well. So over to Alex.
All right, first question, Laura. As a successful woman in your career and as a self-employed entrepreneur, what advice would you give to other women who are navigating the challenges of pursuing their own professional paths?
It's already funny in the first question you just saying, as a successful female realtor or entrepreneur. I don't necessarily view myself as that. I just view myself as someone who's on my journey, who's just going along with it, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And I would say my main feedback to people, particularly women, is not to let the fear hold them back. I did an entire talk about this just today in my training company to 15 real estate agents who were joining us about how fear really is the major aspect that hold people back from their success. And unfortunately, I feel like as women, sometimes we get too much in our own heads, and what we tell ourselves is far too negative, and we think we can't, and we're looking for some outward admiration or for someone to kind of come along and say, you can do it. Unfortunately, ladies, you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to do it for yourself. You have to get your ass up every morning and get that hustle going, because no one's gonna push you as much as you're gonna push yourself.
All right, how do you manage the balance between running your new company and continuing to produce engaging video content? Any tips or strategies you can share with fellow content creators?
I don't know if I can steal the line from Nike right now, but just do it. Honestly, there's no real rhyme or reason to how I get things done. I try my best to time block, so I have parts of my day, parts of my week that I dedicate to doing content. I do try to batch content, which helps at times, but understand that when you're running your own business, you're doing everything all at the same time. You're juggling a lot of balls. So you're the accountant, you're doing your finances, you're speaking with the lawyer, you're actually doing the marketing and all the branding for your company, you're doing the content, you're doing the outbound phone calls and sales, you're also doing, I'm trying to think what else I do in a day. There's lots of things. Oh, like taking inbound phone calls and helping clients with the product or service that they're using you for. It's a lot, but here's the thing. Nothing's going to happen unless you do all these things all at the same time. So get comfortable in juggling a lot of balls, and understand that certain days you're gonna feel like a complete failure. There's gonna be certain tasks that you do that you half-ass, but half-assing those tasks is better than not doing them at all. I know other people say like quality over quantity. Yes, that's true at times, but quite honestly, when you run your own business, you don't have that luxury. You just need to get everything done. And so I hope this is kind of like that fire under your ass, just to know that like you're doing the best you can. So just keep going, get it all done the best way that you can.
Good answer. All right. With your experience in creating video content, what are some key insights or techniques you've learned that have helped you connect with your audience and build a strong online presence?
I would say content has been one of the biggest impacts on my life, which sounds a little bit shallow about my life, I suppose. But learning to create content and kind of getting over the fear of being on camera has honestly changed who I am as a person, because it's made me realize, A, what my fears truly are. I used to use excuses not to do content, like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't know what to talk about, or let me wait until I lose 2 pounds and then I'll do the content, or wait until I get better makeup, or I know how to do my hair properly. I had all these excuses of reasons not to do the content. And I think when I finally started doing content, it kind of becomes self-fulfilling in a way. So the more you do it, the more you want to do it. And you start to realize the feedback that you get with your community. And the feedback, although the feedback when I talked about real estate, for example, to my community was great, people liked the tips, I got some good feedback, it was actually when I was vulnerable on camera and I started giving away pieces of myself to my community, like things that were important to me, things that I valued, maybe from a business perspective, but maybe also from a personal perspective. And it was me building that relationship through being vulnerable. That's when I got the best feedback. So I would urge people to try to not come across on camera like you're perfect and like you have it all, because you're not perfect and you don't have it all figured out. And I think the more often that you can be vulnerable and show people like the days that you have bad hair, or the days that you have a pimple on your face, or the days that you failed at your business and you had to start everything over, when you share that with your community, people actually champion for you. It's when you fake it and you portray that you have it all figured out and everything's perfect, that's when people want to tear you down. I was actually talking to somebody today about this very thing. When you think of celebrities, they always get torn down one way or another, right? But that's because they always come across like they have these perfect lives, and the public always wants to like dissect those perfect lives and say, no, you're just like us, look, you have cellulite too, or like, I don't know, some weird shit's going on in your home life, whatever it is. And then we find out all these things. Well, what if you actually put some of those things out there for the public to see? Then no one has anything on you. And I find that actually really, really empowering.
As a host who regularly shares life hacks for women, what are a few of your favorite productivity tips or strategies that have made a significant difference in your personal and professional life?
I think the biggest thing for me that helps me juggle all of the balls in my life is getting up early. I have for the last couple years, I'm pretty scheduled and pretty adamant about getting up at roughly the same time every day. So that does kind of vary between 4:50 if I'm really like gung-ho, and maybe 5:20. And so I always try to get up early, and then right away I do the hardest thing first. And to me, the hardest thing is working out. I don't like working out. I don't enjoy it. People talk about like these endorphins that you get when you work out. Fuck that. Like, quite honestly, when I'm working out, I can't wait till it's over. And so that's why I do that thing right off the bat. I give myself ample hours in the morning to make sure that I can prepare a healthy breakfast, I can prepare a healthy lunch, that I can get dressed and feel good about myself and do my hair and shower and do all the things that kind of set me up so that now when I walk out the door, I know like I'm ready to tackle the day, because all these stupid little nuances in my home life are prepared and I'm ready to go. So when I am at the office, when I am at work, I can really focus on what I'm there to accomplish, and that tends to work out well for me. The one caveat here though, guys, is if you wake up really early, you probably have to push your bedtime up early. So I go to bed along with all the kids in the world, which is around 8:30 to 9 p.m. Quite honestly, what I also found was at nighttime, I wasn't really doing anything productive anyways. I was usually too tired, or you're groggy, you're not in a great mood because the day kind of kicked you in the ass. And so I would find my evenings were spent mostly watching TV. Well, hey, guess what? I don't need to watch 2 hours of TV at night. I can watch maybe like 30 minutes of TV and then go to bed. So that's where I've kind of made up my time.
In your latest podcast episode, you mentioned launching your new company. Could you share some details about your venture and the inspiration behind it? What excites you the most about this new chapter in your career?
Yeah, so in my latest podcast, I talked about launching a new company. Again, it's called From the Ground Up Academy, or FITIGU for short, which is what we call it. And it was actually was birthed out of a previous company that me and my business colleague had, which was called FITIGU Media. So we started a media company in hopes that we would help other people start to produce content at the level that we were producing it. So we would help them put on podcasts and do short form content. That actually was a bit of a beast, and we weren't particularly skillful at the nuances of media. Like, I'm not editing my own videos. I have an amazing team who does that for me. But it made us a little bit out of our comfort zone, maybe a little too much. And so we kind of went back to our roots, back to our basics and said, well, what is it that we're really passionate about? We love teaching people. and we love what we do for a living, which is sell real estate. So how can we kind of mold both of these into one thing? And then the light bulb went off and said, let's just do a training company. Now, ironically, we started dabbling in training before we even knew we were going to open a training company, because on the media side, we realized people needed training just in order to get in front of camera. So we would do training sessions with people anyways. And so sometimes it's not about having some genius business idea and then going all in on that. You kind of got to try things and then see what kind of works in your business, and then maybe silo out another business from that business, which obviously is scary because you sometimes feel like a bit of a failure, like maybe this didn't work, maybe we're not cut out for this, maybe I'm not cut out to owning my own business, maybe I should just go back to selling real estate. But what really came out of it is that you have to kind of fail forward. You have to keep moving, and you have to have your eyes and ears open, receive feedback, don't take it personally, but understand that hopefully the feedback is coming from a loving place, and then you can kind of pivot and move along. What I'm particularly excited about is honestly watching the growth of our members. So we have 3 different programs, and people are in different places on their journey. We have some new real estate agents, some veteran real estate agents. They all need different things. Some people are trying to grow a team. Some people are literally trying to do their first deal. And I feel like my part in this business is really to help train and kind of be a therapist to our members, because I'll be getting on phone calls with people and finding out where they're at, how are they doing since our last call. And I know that a lot of it, although it seems like technical things, like I don't know how to negotiate a contract, or I don't know how to lead generate online, it's usually comes from a place of fear. And I know I'll be helping people work through that, and I know what working through that has done for me, so I can only imagine how I'll feel when I'm helping other people do that as well.
As a dedicated listener of your podcast, I've enjoyed the past 14 episodes where you shared valuable insights and life hacks for women. Looking back, what has been the most impactful topic or episode for you personally, and why? Can you share any standout moments or key takeaways that have resonated with both yourself and your audience?
Wow, I've had such incredible women on my podcast, so it kind of feels like I'm stealing from them if I only pick just one, because they all had their own stories, they all had their own journeys, and they were all interesting. And hopefully they all kind of resonated with different people. There are some like standout moments for me, but I would say before I answer that, overall, there is kind of like a similar thread that I think all of the women had, and it was like a go get it attitude. Like none of them had an easy path to their success, and some of them had a very awful path to their success. But it was like, no matter what comes at me, I'm going to get over it. Living with hope, like living for your dreams and not saying, well, you know, this thing bad happened and maybe I should forget my dreams. Everyone was kind of like, no, I was steadfast. I was living in my convictions. I was gonna get after it. And so I feel like that was the common thread amongst all of them. And that's why I think that they're so successful. And their success varies also, right? Like I'm not just talking about monetary success. I'm talking about just success in them feeling confident in their own skin and them feeling like their lives have meaning and purpose. That is success as well. There are some people, so Shannon Hunter, I really, really enjoyed having her on because I've known her for so long and I've known where she's come from, and she had kind of a science background, so did I, and then she moved into the real estate world, and now she owns one of the top boutique hotels in the entire country. And she talked a lot about surrounding herself with support. So she talked about that her husband is super supportive. He never asked her to be anybody other than she is. So, you know, I think that's great in terms of like who should I surround myself with and what types of partners should I look for in my life. She also talked about the importance of having a nanny and understanding for her, like other mothers definitely judged her for that, but she said this was what was best for me. Sending my kid to daycare and me going off and working was the best thing for me and my family. She goes, I'm not telling other women to do that, but that's what worked for me. And I think having that underlying confidence in herself, I found very empowering. I don't know if I feel I even have that level of confidence. Oftentimes, I look around and people, you know, they'll give feedback or they'll make little jabs, and I take it to heart. I take it seriously. And sometimes those people are like close-knit. They're family and friends, and you kind of think, oh shit, maybe I should be thinking differently about this. Maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm always really inspired by others people's inner strength. When they're like, nope, this is my life and I'm gonna live it my way. That to me is like the most exciting thing. And I hope that you guys, if you've been watching along, that's kind of what you've picked up from our guests as well.
All right, so throughout your podcast, you've shared some fantastic life hacks for women. Can you highlight a lesser known life hack that you personally find incredibly useful and believe other women would benefit from implementing in their daily lives?
Yeah, I'm already laughing because I know what the life hack is. For me, I cut out cooking. I don't know how else to say it. Look, I have a nutrition degree. I care about eating healthfully. So it's not like, it's not a passion of mine. I just found cooking and preparing food for a family is very, very time consuming. So you have to like write down everything you need at the grocery store. Then you have to go grocery shopping. Then you have to go home, cook the food. Then you eat the food. Then you have to like do all the dishes after. Like that shit takes up so much time and so much bandwidth. And so I kind of looked around and found some companies that were useful to me where they delivered food that was already cooked to my house. All I have to do is heat it up. And that's kind of what I do Monday to Thursday for lunches. So I don't even have to worry about it. And I actually think that has saved me so much time. Another little hack, guys, and my mom is absolutely gonna kill me for saying this, I put everything in the dishwasher. My mom's gonna kill me because she put nothing in the dishwasher. The wine glasses don't go in the dishwasher. The knives don't go. Everything needed to be spotless. And so the only thing that she would ever let us put in the dishwasher was like plates and like regular cutlery. But for me, everything goes in there because I don't have time to be washing dishes. So those are little things that work for me. You buy back a little bit of time. You buy back a little bit of bandwidth. And it's not like, oh, when the dishwasher's on, I'm like doing something that's super important. But maybe I'm relaxing. Maybe I'm reading. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast and getting more information, or I'm watching something where I'm getting information that can help me in my business. Maybe I'm using that time to prepare my life for the next day or journal. And those things seem to be more important. So I think it's about getting your priorities in line. And if something's not a priority, try to find a hack for that. Try to find that way that you can do it where it doesn't take as much time.
As an entrepreneur yourself, what would be your top 3 pieces of advice for women who are just about to start their entrepreneurial journey? Are there any specific challenges or obstacles that you've encountered and overcome that you could offer insights on?
I think first and foremost, when you're starting a company, understand that you don't even know what you don't know yet. So we just launched our company last week and we were all so excited. The whole team was so pumped, and then we laughed. I think I actually said it in the meeting, like right before we all went home. I was like, here's the funny thing is we all think that we nailed it and we thought of everything, but we probably didn't, and we don't even know what those things are yet. And guess what? We went home and like 4 hours later in the chat group, someone's like, hey guys, we didn't think of this. Or one of our clients is already talking about this. And it dawns on you how little you know. So I think if you can go into it knowing that you're gonna suck and you're gonna fail and you're going to not know things, then you can at least kind of laugh at those things when they don't go well. And then on top of that, the second thing I would say is get a team ready. Now that doesn't have to be a team where you're paying everybody, but like make sure you have people you can call upon, like an accountant. You need an accountant that you can pick up the phone and call and ask little questions about, should I tax this person or not? Those people are very, very useful. A lawyer, you're gonna have to talk to a lawyer about things. So just getting a team around you of people who can help. And if you can bring on somebody, because what I do find is entrepreneurship can be lonely, like real estate, you're technically a business owner. It's so lonely, and I think that's why a lot of people end up failing at it, is because they're all alone. But try to create a team. So how can you bring people onto your team without saying we're gonna split it 50-50? Maybe you bring people on as commission people. So as the company grows, they grow as well. And you're not outlaying any money up front because you probably don't have any, but you're kind of bringing them along for the ride. And yeah, you're gonna have to give a little bit of money. You're not gonna put it all in your pocket. But I'm telling you, having those people around is gonna be way more fun, because you're both gonna show up to work, you're gonna hold each other accountable, and you're gonna both start creating a dream together. It doesn't have to be a one-woman show. And the third thing I would say is, be open-minded. Be open-minded to what's possible. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't make goals that are too small. I think where I went wrong early on in life is I actually thought I had an audacious goal, but it wasn't an audacious goal. It was just a pretty common goal. And then you hit the goal, and then you realize you need another goal and another goal and another goal, and it keeps kind of spiraling. I think if you can make one massive goal for yourself and be open-minded to what that is, what is the possibility? Like, if I could wave a magic wand, if I could have everything I wanted in life, like what would it be? And then that is your major, major why, and then work toward that every single day. And you might never hit it. It's not like I think I'm actually gonna hit my goal per se. No, I do think I'm gonna hit my goal, but I might not. The point is that you kind of have something that you get up out of bed for every day. That's big. It doesn't have to be a monetary goal. It could be anything. It just has to be like a big, big why. So I would be open-minded to what that looks like, what your future could possibly hold for you.
In today's fast-paced digital world, what are some effective time management strategies or productivity hacks that you've found helpful in juggling multiple responsibilities as a career-driven woman and entrepreneur?
I think the best thing that you can do, and I kind of answered this in the previous question, but the best thing that you can do to be productive is to bring on other people. At some point, there's only so many hours in a day. You can only do so much in a day, and quite honestly, you're not good at everything. So you're not necessarily the best marketer, you're not necessarily the best accountant, you're not necessarily the best salesperson. So what I think you should do is when you start a business, I want you to write down everything that you're currently doing in your day. Everything, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, and kind of take a look at those items and say, okay, what am I good at on this list? And maybe keep those things and try to get rid of everything else. And also say, what's the other? I said, what am I good at? I lost my train of thought. What am I good at? And then what do I like to do? That's the other thing that's really, really important. You want to like what you do every day. So if you don't like what you're doing and you're not good at it, get rid of those tasks. Hire other people to help you, because there are people out there who actually love doing those things and they're good at it. And again, you're putting money out now, but it's gonna save you mental bandwidth. They're gonna get it done a lot faster. You're gonna be that much more productive. And again, now you have other people to bounce ideas off of. And if you're anything like me, you wanna surround yourself with people who you wanna see each other win. It makes life a lot more exciting.
Last question. Women often face unique challenges and biases in various professional settings. From your own experiences, what strategies or mindset shifts can women adopt to overcome these obstacles and thrive in their careers or entrepreneurial pursuits?
This is an interesting question and a hard one for me to answer, but I want to be as truthful as I possibly can. I would be naive to think that there's not a clear gap in the data and that women aren't earning as much as men in the world. I mean, that's very clear statistically, mathematically. I'm not trying to argue that. I think for me, though, what I've just found is that I've been really lucky. I surround myself with people, including men, who want to see me grow as a person, who want to see me win. I don't even think that they see me as a woman. I just think that they see me as a teammate or someone that can use some help maybe at times and that can use mentorship and guidance. So it's very hard for me to even come up with an example of a time where I've really felt being a woman has been a detriment to my career. If I can say anything, I actually think being a woman has helped me in my career, because oftentimes I've been the only woman in a room, and so I've stood out, and that has actually helped me. Now, obviously, you want to stand out for the right reasons, and when you do stand out, sometimes you have a magnifying glass that's on you a little bit, but I've always used it as my superpower. Even when I was a kid, I remember always looking at my male peers, my friends. If the boys could do something, that to me was like, oh, if a guy could do it, I sure as hell could do it. So I just always had that mentality that, like, I'm the stronger sex. I can get all of this done. So I view it really as my superpower. And I'm not to say that if you're facing hard times at work, that harassment and, disparity doesn't exist. I do think, though, if you can shut out that noise a little bit, focus on the positive things that are happening, focus on being a woman and using that as a strength, I think you'll probably start to realize there's a lot of people out there that are cheering for you, and to stop focusing on the ones that aren't, because screw them. Like, the world's gonna deal with them one way or another, because karma's a bitch, and focus on the people who are there for you and who care for you. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me. And of course, thank you for the team for putting this unique little episode together. I want to know from you guys, though, if you thought this was valuable, if you enjoyed the Q&A component. If so, let me know in the comments, because then I'll do more of these. And also let me know in the comments, what are some of the questions that you had, or if you disagreed with some of the things I said, or if you had some additional tips, some things that maybe I didn't mention, but some hacks and some life strategies that have really worked for you and your business. Again, I'm trying to create a community of women who are really here supporting each other on our journeys. So I want it to be an open forum where we can all speak honestly and with integrity, and let's get at it. Let's go win some business.